Hey, what's up everybody? Joe Stroud here, intentional dating coach for men and more specifically, software engineers, techie, nerdy guys, CEOs, and executives. But I am based out of Austin, Texas, and I'm actually coming to you from Koh Phangan, Thailand, or some people say Koh Phangan. But anyway, I wanted to talk to you today about a topic that really no one is talking about. And it's just been so obvious to me since I've been in Asia, where the culture is drastically different. And that is this essence of hyper independence. And this is ingrained in American society. It's ingrained in entrepreneurialism and capitalism, and then feminism came along and really just blew the top off of all of that. And so, this culture of independence, it's what makes America, America, right? We've got the war for independence from Great Britain, and then you even have in Texas, you had the Alamo of wanting to get their independence from Mexico. And that's when you got the Battle of the Alamo. But anyway, and then you've got during, pandemic times when Texas was actually one of the most free states along with Florida. We actually had more freedom than the other states. Why? Because it's a state that valued more independence. And the government was like, hey, we trust that you are responsible adults and are responsible enough to make decisions for yourself as it relates to your health and your livelihood and what's best for your own safety, what's best to put into your body. That's another topic. But, this, in other states were very, the opposite of that. But you have this culture of independence in Texas, but also just in America altogether. You have hustle culture. You've got the Gary V's and the Grant Cardones and the Alex Hormozis pushing hustle culture, which it's great. Again, another one of the things that makes America great, that someone growing up in that culture has this opportunity to achieve great things. But of course, there's hustle porn, there's perfectionism that gets in the way, there's distractions, and this modern, scrolling culture that we have that can really knock a lot of so-called entrepreneurs off their path. But anyway, I'm bringing this back to dating. You have all these factors that make, American culture so independent. And if you look at, a lot of people, they might have roommates, but a lot of people do everything they can to, when they're adults, live alone. And and then, especially like a single person buying their house and checking a box to impress their parents or whoever. And, that's the big thing. And they've got this big castle, or you live in a big city and you've got your apartment, and it's just this box, especially if it's like a studio. You live in a box, basically. You got the four walls, and it's even worse if you're a techie, nerdy guy, introvert that has a job, like maybe being a software engineer, and you talk to no one. Zero people. I had the opposite experience. I've been in sales most of my life, so I've had this communication skill built since I was 18. But, so you've already got jobs that don't require you to really talk to anybody. You just work. And then the pandemic came along and took you out of the office to where now you're doing all this from home. So, I think a lot of this independence is ingrained in American culture. A lot of people don't realize it, or they're not talking about it. So that's kind of why I'm talking about it here on this video, and how this relates to dating. So divorces are at an all-time high, or you've just got so many people in relationships that they're not happy, or there's a lot of people jumping from relationship to relationship to relationship, right? So why is that? I think, it's funny, I was having breakfast with somebody, or coffee actually, with somebody this morning. We were talking about this, so it kind of gave me the inspiration to make this video. But it was already something that was, on my mind. And as I've connected with a few Asian women here, or just, Asian culture here, a lot of them work for their family and give all the money back to their parents or something like that. And, but still, even in Latin America, you don't have, and in Asia and definitely other parts of the world, you don't have, and even in Europe, you don't have this super hyper independent based culture. And so, there's the feminism piece, which, it kind of gives a lot of women this idea, don't need no man, I can do it all myself, I can go make my own money, why would I need him? Why do I need his protection? Why do I need his provision? And sure, if that's the way they want to live and be married to their job until they're 35 or 40 and they can't have kids, great. You just put corporate and a man's world over a woman's world and a woman's role in society, which is to have make babies, to have the role, the responsibility of creating more babies in society. And if women follow this path, this masculine path of, and it's some of them, it's not their fault. It's not like they made a conscious decision of, oh yeah, I'm going to do this so I think they've been conditioned by society, by their parents, by the university system of like, oh, this is what you need to do to be secure. Everything for security, right? And it's like a lot of parents, like they feel like if they don't get their kid through high school and out of jail, like keep them out of jail and then get them into a good school with a good job, if they don't do that, then they failed as a parent. They feel that. My parents thought they failed when I, one, did not subscribe to, the church and Christianity. And then the other thing they thought they failed at was when they caught me smoking weed in high school, right? So anyway, there's all kinds of conditioning at play. And so, on one hand, I'd say on one hand, I see the world going in a different direction. And so like on one hand, I don't have a solution, at least for the women. I don't expect all women to go back to churning butter and washing dishes and whatever. Although a lot of women, Western American women that I've dated, have admitted they'd rather just do that and bake cookies and make the bed and just keep the house great and that kind of thing. And also, a lot of these same women agree that, or they realize that if all their needs were met, emotional needs, financial and security needs, they're supported and everything they need, they don't, the man, then the man can kind of do what he wants. And or on the flip side, they want to support and submit to their husband or their partner, their masculine dancing partner in life. So that's the bottom line. It's not the feminism part is not a secret. A lot of women are in their masculine. Why are there so many female coaches helping women get more into their feminine, right? There's so many of them. And even those female coaches who coach those women on that, they are themselves kind of the boss babe thing, right? And so there's this boss babe culture which kind of blew up and kind of made it cool. And I just really, in a lot of those boss babes that are Western American women who are in relationships, I really wonder who is steering the ship, who's wearing the pants in that relationship, who is the final decision maker, the judge, the jury, and the executioner. When emotion is rampant and women's emotions get off the charts sometimes to where there's no sense of rationality, they are going to need a man to make a decision in the moment, compartmentalized from his emotions, because I'm sure he's going to have some emotions. Men definitely have emotions, but I've done so much work around this. But men are, I'm to the point where I'll feel my emotions, but I know how to keep them at bay. I'm like, oh, I see you, but I'm going to work on this. Or I see you, I'm going to go to the gym. Whatever. Women can't really do that as well. They just can't. And they know, a lot of them know this. But this is why they need masculine leadership and provision and protection. The protection thing, not as much anymore, right? There's not like a warring tribe in the next island over. I'm on an island, or in the next village over that might come attack us, okay? We don't really have that threat anymore. It's mainly provision, but there is emotional safety. There's emotional protection based on the things that come out of my mouth when we're in the community or in the relationship, just between us. So anyway, it's just wanted to share this. I think, this culture of hyper-independence, I think it permeates culture with women primarily. And I hate to just put this on women or pick on the women, but I think a lot of women do need to wake up. And I'm gonna put it back on the men here in a second, but first, I see, and I've dated women in the U.S., I've dated women in Argentina, I've dated women in Mexico, all over the world, and even over here in Thailand, that have this hustle culture, boss babe type of thing, and or they prioritize. Let me just back up. They prioritize going out with their girlfriends until their early 30s, and then they want to like lock down a man because their time is running out, and they've realized this. The party's over. And then they complain that all these men don't want to man up. Man up and commit. Be a man. Why are you like, So the woman is basically, she had her fun in her prime years when she's the most attractive. And I'm talking about, 21 to like 24 to 25, let's say. Can women be absolutely stunning at 28, 30, 32? Of course. Of course. Shoot, they can be stunning at 45. At least that's my book. But in terms of when a woman is prime on the dating and reproduction and sexual marketplace, because sex matters in love and marriage, if that's the path you're going to go. The traditional long-term pair bonding. If you're going to go that route, what does a man want? He wants a fertile woman she doesn't have a lot of miles on her, and she doesn't have a whole lot of wounding and baggage that he then has to deal with. Then there's the sexual innocence, or like, she hasn't, I'm kind of talking about all the same stuff. So he wants a young, fertile, fresh, ripe woman, for all of those reasons. Also, he is going to be, if he's older, he's going to be way more established in his life than she will be. And so that creates, I think, across all of history of human beings through evolution, back in the kings and queens in medieval ages, this is why older man and a younger woman always worked. Why? He's established financially, socially, he's stronger. She's going to be more supported and protected if he's an established king, or let's just say he's 38 and he's at the peak of his career in the US, or maybe 45, and he's ready, and so he picks a 28-year-old, or a 32-year-old if he's 45, or let's say he's 36. He could pick, a 27 or a 24-year-old. And she's still in her prime years, and he's at his peak in terms of what his role and his ability to do as a man is at his peak. And so, anyway, with feminism, with the American hyper-independence culture, and then now the party scene in the big cities and all the things you can go out, and with internet and technology, now this generation that's had the internet and apps and iPhones for the last 20, 25 years, now we're seeing the consequences of dating and relationships. And, a lot of women are like, oh, well, there's no good men out there. It's like, well, are they the same guys that are your age at 30, 32, because you're wanting to lock one down? These men, or even at 28, these men at the same age are starting to realize their value. So men, you have lots of time. Women, sadly, just have about a decade, maybe 15 years to find a mate and have kids. If you're wanting that. I'm just going to go ahead and make the assumption that everyone here, part of this conversation, wants to have kids or reproduce or have a long-term partner. So that's why a lot of these factors go into play. But, I've seen it with so many women in the US, and even a little bit Argentina, but they go their whole 20s partying, and it's girls' night. And I'm not saying don't have girls' night. I'm not saying don't go out and do your thing and do your path and your self-care and just focusing on you or your healing era, your healing journey. It's like, we get it. It's gonna take time. Well, guess what? You take all that time, next thing you know, you're 36, and not as many guys in their prime are really gonna be attracted to you. And like, yeah, so I've just seen it so many times, because all the women that complain about men not manning up, they're all in their 30s. They're all mid-30s or early 30s, and their time has run out, and they're trying to lock one down now that their prime time has ended, and men's prime time is just starting. A man really only, like, with every year that goes by, it just gets better for me. I don't think at this age, and I'm 30, by the way, I don't think it's the same for women at all, not even close. And this is a sad thing that we need to turn around culturally. I think women should value, having a family and starting, having babies. And men can take care of more of the work side of things and providing. Men would be more in their masculine. If men were doing that and women were doing that, men would walk up to women in public when they see them. I know a lot of women have frustration of, oh, men don't approach, chivalry is dead, men want us to pursue them now. And it's sad, because that is what's happening. So I'll switch back to the men. Yeah, women are happier when there's strong men in the world. This is a lot of the reason why there's so many depressed women. It's because there's a lot of weak men, a lot of soy boys who are swiping on apps, who are hitting their vapes and just eating junk food at home, and probably, worst case, they're paying some girl for her OnlyFans and using porn every night, whatever. That's obviously like a worst case scenario, but men have to be more firm and strong and go after what they want in the moment, and despite the discomfort that might be there. And yeah, a woman is going to be 50 times more attracted to you if you do that. And so this brings up another point, is men are more naturally independent. When a man is going through a tough time, or he needs to sort out his life, he retreats. He needs isolation. He goes off into his cave or to his mountain. This is how men do it best. They really want space and to just be alone. Women are the opposite. What do? They get together, they have girls' night, they light the candles, they light some incense, they pull some tarot cards, or have a moon ceremony or a womb healing, or not even that. That's more in the spiritual and conscious community. Women just get together and they talk and talk and get it all out. Wine night, they'll get dressed up and have a girls' night. Girls date each other, literally, almost in the same way as men date each other, in kind of a way. You know what I'm talking about. So anyway, the independence, essentially, it's a little bit more masculine. Women are more collective. Women band together. Women go out in groups. And why is it that when women go on retreats or get together, their cycles, their monthly cycles, sync up? So, yeah, and this is why women are more focused on empathy and connection and love, and men are more the intelligence and the logic and the reason and decision making and leadership roles. Literally leadership. Lead is a singular thing. There's no co-leading. It's fucking bullshit. Okay? There is no co-leading. There's definitely the other side to the woman's role, and that's not really. I can get to that on another video, but she has just as much responsibility to a relationship, to raising children, to the tribe and to the village and to society. And that's carrying a child for 9 months, and then being really kind of the number one person there for the child when the child is very young, nursing and all of that. But women have this better intuitive sensing on a group and a community. So that's their strength, and can kind of tell, her king, her husband, or her partner, who she trusts, feels totally safe with, has all her needs met with, can submit to him and surrender. And so anyway, the roles are definitely there, and everyone needs to step into them if they want a more cohesive society that values relationships and dating again and wants it to work. And so for all of you guys who are struggling out there to meet women who are interested in learning some of this, I'm actually having a webinar in about 3 weeks. If you are interested, comment below and I will send you the details. We are going to specifically talk about how to meet women in real life without being creepy and without dating apps. And the number one thing I'm going to give you is accountability, because I know who you are. You're probably a software engineer. You're very logical and left-brained and don't talk to many people. And you want, the number one thing that you want is accountability and transformation, and actually to take action. So I know a lot of you are going to consume a lot of this information and do nothing. And then another year is going to go by and you've still done nothing. And then at the holidays, which is coming up, and your parents are going to bug you like, why haven't you met anybody? When am I going to meet when are you going to bring home somebody for Christmas or whatever holiday you celebrate? But yeah, I know that they're putting the pressure on you, and I can help. So comment below or shoot me a message, and I'm also @_TheJoeShow on Instagram. You can send me a message there. Sometimes that's going to be faster the way to reach me, but yeah, this comes from my heart, and I really I feel called to do this, and I want to support you guys. So come to the webinar, and you're going to get lots of good things that software engineers specifically miss when they are in the dating process, and the mistakes that they regularly make. So I'll be covering all that, and how the environments where to meet women, and social cues and behaviors to look for, all the good stuff. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.